a stronger advocate of conservation and of outdoor recreation opportunities, whether it's hunting or fishing or protecting natural resources and habitat protection. Senator Graham is always very willing to go above and beyond to help us accomplish what we need to do here in South Carolina. So if you would, please help me welcome Senator Lindsey Graham.
This is a beautiful spot on a rainy day. When the weather's clear, it's just absolutely stunning. But we're here to celebrate, I think, a partnership between the government and the private sector that doesn't get nearly enough attention. And John, thank you for all your years of service. Where's David Stone, our sheriff in Oconee? Thank you, David, for all the years of service you provided us and getting us up here safely. Bottom line is, this part of South Carolina is going to be preserved for the rest of our lives and as far as the eye can see. And isn't that a good thing? I mean, that really is a good thing. I've never bought into the idea that economic growth and good environmental policies have to be in confrontation with each other. I think they go hand in hand. And our generation of political leaders and just average, everyday citizens, I think we have a moral responsibility, quite frankly, to take the beauty of South Carolina and make sure it's preserved for generations to come. And how do you do that? Well, you have to have people willing to put their money where their mouth is. So to all of those who put your money where your mouth is, thanks a bunch. And you know who you are. You don't get a whole lot of credit. But the conservation organizations and the sporting groups in South Carolina have literally put their money into endeavors that will sustain our state's beauty long after we're all gone. And the federal government has a role. The Land Water Conservation Fund. I'm on a bill with Richard Burr, our senator from North Carolina, and John Mitchell is here representing Senator Burr, to make sure that we keep the Land Water Conservation Fund adequately funded so we can make purchases like this in conjunction with the private sector. And Mr. Leonard, thank you. What your organization has done to secure this part of South Carolina is just really something to celebrate. This is the highest point in South Carolina, and Clemson University is going to build an observation tower, and when it's not raining, we're all going to use it. But just Charles Taylor, a former congressman, he has just been a good partner over the years when I was representing the 3rd Congressional District, and we're glad to have Jeff's folks here. He was just a good partner taking care of this part of South Carolina, North Carolina. Happened to be a landowner too, and he contributed to this patchwork of 8,000 acres that have been knitted together to make sure that this part of South Carolina and North Carolina stay preserved for future generations. To Duke Power and Blue Ridge Co-op and all the companies that maintain this part of South Carolina, thank you for being good corporate citizens. You know, at the end of the day, nothing like this can happen just to one group's efforts. This really is a partnership between the private sector, philanthropists, conservation groups, sporting groups, corporate South Carolina and North Carolina, and the federal government. And I just want to end on this note. The best is yet to come. We're celebrating something big today, John, but we're going to do more. You know, if I can stick around as long as Strum, we'll do a lot. But I'm not really counting on that. I think I'm genetically term limited. But in these days of reduced budgets and hard times and high unemployment, it is so easy to forget our responsibility to be good stewards of God's environment. And I'm not going to let that happen. The harder the times, the more difficult the circumstances, the more leadership is required. So I promise you, as we try to get our physical house in order in Washington, we're not going to do dumb things. We're not going to disengage from the idea that conservation has a place in modern America, and high unemployment is no excuse to basically disengage from programs that have served us well from generation to generation. The history of our will be written here one day, and as most history is written, we're not going to be around to read it. But here's what I hope they would say about us all. That in the toughest of times, they never lost sight of what really was important. In times when money was tight, they set aside a little bit to make sure that who we are and the good hand we were dealt in South Carolina by the good Lord was not lost. In tough times, when business was under the most pressure, they gave a little bit. In tough times, when people had a lot of demands on their time, they set aside that spirit of volunteerism that made us special. And at the federal level, when they were trying to get their fiscal house in order, when they were trying to deal with $16 trillion in debt, they never lost sight of a proper role of government. And if it's not the proper role of government to partner with the private sector and individual citizens to protect the land and the environment, then what would be? So ladies and gentlemen, it's a cloudy, rainy, foggy day, but the light shines bright on what you've accomplished here. Long after we're gone, people are going to come to this spot, and I hope they will think back fondly about the vision that you have shown. I will be your partner to make sure that South Carolina and our surrounding states, that our environment and our natural beauty is not lost because of tough times. God bless you.